Hello and welcome to Charting the Course to Your Good Life, the three-part series. We're on Fiasco and I work in the Family and Community Engagement Program here at Special School District. Charting Life course comes from the University of Missouri, Kansas City Institute for Human Development. Here at SSD, we use the tools and the framework throughout lots of our planning for students and ourselves. The program that I work in is called FACE, Family and Community Engagement. It is our mission to partner with students, families, and staff to support specialized academic, social, and emotional needs and promote self-determination, equitable opportunities, and authentic inclusion. We really feel like utilizing the Charting the Life course tools helps us do this. Today, this is a webinar and it is being recorded. Your microphone and camera have been turned off. You may ask questions in the chat button, and it would be limited to contact between you and the panelists or hosts. I have Emily Lebu here from the FACE department as well, and she will be helping me with those questions. We can't always guarantee, although it's in a webinar, confidentiality. So please limit any questions with identifiable information about your family or your student. If you require additional assistance, put that in the chat as well. This is available in closed captioning, and that has been activated. A recording of this webinar will be uploaded within a week and will be available for viewing. So let's get started with talking about some of our other programs. We have some, of course, the upcoming 2 parts of Charting the Life course next week, October 11th and 18th. We have an assistive technology webinar that's scheduled for December 13th. We also have our Family Cafe, which is a wonderful opportunity for families to gather and dig deep into different concepts with each other. And we have dates on the flyer. We have our hub huddles where we have the Community Action Agency and the Higher Education Consortium that will be here, and the dates are on the flyers. You can find all the information about our program on the SSD website. So Charting the Life course. As I said earlier, the Charting the Life course comes to us from UMKC's Institute for Human Development. They are the Missouri Family to Family program. Charting the Life course is a grassroots effort that was started by UMKC and managed by UMKC. And while it was developed by professionals, it was really developed with individuals, people with disabilities, people who worked in education, in research, in social service agencies. It started about 12 years ago, and it's morphed into what it is now. So you can see by this map of the United States, it's called a National Community of Practice. And UMKC, while they started it, so Missouri is dark purple, it has spread across the country and actually around the world. So we're in really good company in utilizing these principles in this framework in the state of Missouri. It is used by other state agencies, by provider agencies who work with people with disabilities, and other schools. So we have lots of partnership in the state of Missouri. Life course is built on a couple of really defining principles. The one that I find the most impactful is the focusing on all people. This triangle represents a slide that we'll see a little bit later on about all people being the triangle, with the green part being people with developmental and intellectual disabilities. This framework was started for people, for a planning tool for people with disabilities, but it's gone across all life domains and all life stages. It's really about planning for a good life for all people. The other thing I really find impactful is it recognizes the person in the context of their family and their community. And that's what that circle with the people represent, is that we're not an island. We are within our own community and our own family. And that should be the driving forces for all of our planning and all of our supports. As we move through this 3-part series, we will explore other areas and other tools of the life course principles and framework: the trajectory across life experiences, and the integrated support star. But it's all really about achieving those life outcomes. And you see in that bottom graphic again, that the person in the context of their family is at the center of all we do. Here we go with the all again. So this is nationally 1 in 4 persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities receive ongoing supports or state services. And that's a national average. So we can see in that all, if we're looking at 4.7 million, only 25% are receiving supports. 75% of people really are in the context of their family and their community, and they're not receiving those additional supports. We use the Charting the LifeCourse framework and tools to really help plan for the good life, not just for the 25%, but the whole 100%, whether they're receiving additional supports or services. We look at achieving those goals across different, what they call life domains. We want to make sure a daily life and employment, what a person does in school or in life, what their routines are. Community living, where do they live? How do they live? Are there modifications that might be needed? Transportation concerns. Social and spirituality, that's become a really big one, I think, especially with COVID, about building that safety net with our friends and having those relationships and having a community where we support one another. Healthy living. This is always one that families want to talk about, is managing healthcare and how do we stay healthy, both medically and behaviorally. How do we afford healthcare and have wellness and good nutrition? Safety and security, that's another one that we talk about a lot, is staying safe and secure, both physically and with legal issues. We talk a lot about guardianship and all our options and alternatives to guardianship. And then citizenship and advocacy is building those values within the community and really being able to be responsible for one's goals and how your life is lived. This is the booklet, the Experiences Question and Answer booklet developed by UMKC. It really goes through all of those life domains and all of the life stages and helps ask the questions of, what should I be concerned about in healthy living? What should I be looking at to plan for good employment? So this is the comprehensive booklet, and we've got a QR code, or you can find it on UMKC's website. But they also break it down into life domains, is what they call it. So focusing on early childhood, how do you look at employment when we're talking about early childhood? Focus on school age. There's a focus on transition to adulthood. There's also one on adulthood and aging. So you can see we look at all of those areas of people's life across the whole lifespan of trying to help families really plan for what is a good life. So what is Charting the LifeCourse? It's really about having different kinds of conversations, encouraging high expectations and experiences that really move you in the way that you want to move. And they use the word trajectory a lot. And includes multiple levels of support. It's not just for professionals. Like I said earlier, it was developed by professionals with a lot of support and a lot of input from individuals, but it's not just for professionals' use. We have students use it, we have teachers use it, we have organizations use it, and it's not just about the tools. I'll give you some examples later on about how we've done the very first tool that we'll talk about today, which is the one-page profile, and it can be done in so many different ways. It really is about the conversation. It's not a program. It's not obviously it's designed just for a specific age group and not solely for people with disabilities and their families. It's about planning for a good life for all. So how do we do that? How do we work towards that goal of a good life? This is the LifeCourse portfolio, and this is the whole thing. And throughout the series, you'll see a little bit different variations of this, but this is the whole profile. So it's a front and back page. We've got the integrated support star, we've got the one-page profile that we'll talk about today, and then we've got the trajectory tool, and there's a couple of different variations of that. So here's the one-page profile. This is what we're talking about today. The one-page profile captures the important information about a person under 3 simple headings on one page, which is nice. What people appreciate about me or like about me, you'll see different variations as we move forward. What's really important to me, and then how best to support me. And we can ask these questions in different ways, but this is the main concept about what people like about me. What is the most important thing to me, and what do I need in my day, in my school year, in my job to best support me towards my goals of a good life. So what people like about me, what we want to talk about is people's strengths and their interests. What are your talents? Do you have a good sense of humor? What in your personality do people like about you? Are you kind? What's your work ethic? Some of the questions we ask when we're talking about what's important to me, usually we hear family and friends. That's what we hear all the time as the most important. So we want to talk about that. What's important to you, your family and friends? What are some of the things that make you happy? What are experiences or vacations or things that are really important to you that you want to work for? Sometimes we talk about levels of independence, that's really important across the lifespan. We know we start with 2-year-olds saying, me do it, me do it. And we have seniors saying, quit trying to baby me. So we talk a lot about independence in there. And culture and traditions. What's important within your family's culture or the traditions that you've built? And then how to best support me. Is there a different communication style? Do I communicate better if I have visuals or if I hear it over and over again? Do I need lists? What's my learning style? Do I have to have it multi-tiered so that I hear it and see it? Do I have to get up and walk when I learn? Do I have some sensory needs? Are there some safety concerns that I need additional supports to reach out and really get to my good life? Those are just some of the questions. So I said there's all kinds of different LifeCourse one-page portfolios or one-page profiles out there. This is an early one, but I still really like it because it's very simplistic. The color makes it seem like it's not so rigid. It's not about the tool. It's about really having those conversations. For a student who can actually say what people like and admire about them is preparing them for all kinds of things in adult life, preparing for job interviews and preparing to really advocate for themselves. And knowing what's important to you and putting that at the forefront is important, as well as what your safety needs are. This is a one-page profile that didn't use that at all. It's pretty detailed, and it was written by a child, an older child, and he's from England. So some of the language is a little bit different, but he really talks about what's important to him and bullet points, like what does he need for support and what he thinks people like about him. He says he's cheeky and has a good sense of humor. The next one-page portfolio was written about a 4-year-old, and it was written by the mom. And again, he's from England as well. And so it talks about what people really like about him. He gives great hugs. He's got lots of enthusiasm. What's important to him is having tomato ketchup at mealtime. Sometimes we really have to dig down deep, and sometimes the concepts are really broad about what's important to me, and sometimes we get into the weeds, we say, where we're talking about really specific things that's important. And with our students, we find that some of the answers that we get from them really do lead us to understanding behavior and communication and how they learn best, and then how to support him. The next one is a really simple one. I did this with my grandson on sticky notes because he's 4 and It's not about the tool. So I asked him what people like about him. Well, he said his friends like that he likes playing games and he always wins. Not so sure that they all like that, but that's his perception about what people like about him. But even at 4, he was able to tell me what was important to him. Halloween right now is very important to him, and being a superhero is important to him. And of course, he said spending time with grandma. And then what he needs, and he is spot on, he needs his naps still. He needs a snack right after school so we don't get hangry. But he was actually able to, in just a few minutes, he picked out which color stickies he wanted to have on this and to answer those questions so that we could use this to help if he had a babysitter that maybe was coming or for any other transition. It also gave him the option to really talk about himself in an organized way and help us understand better what is important to him through his eyes. The next portfolio, one-page portfolio, is really wonderful. I've taken out the name, and a grandma did this for us, and her 3-year-old grandson was transitioning from one daycare that he had been in since he was tiny to a new daycare. And what were some of the concerns going into that new daycare? So she sat down with him and did this. You can see the headings are even different. It's what's important to me, what others like about me, what's important to my mom and dad. So she broke it down, not just by what's important to her grandson, but what's important to the family. She reported back that the daycare got this and we're thrilled to have this information about how to best support her grandson in this transition to a new daycare. And it kind of caught fire, and several other people, they've given it to several other people to use when they have new students joining their daycare. So again, the one-page profile can look like a lot of things and be used for a lot of things. It is the beginning of the Charting the LifeCourse tools as we move through. It could be used by a parent and their student to talk about some of the things for the IEP process, for going to camp, for planning for a job, for all kinds of different things. It's about sitting down and having meaningful conversations. Doing it on yourself is very insightful as well. When you sit down and you think, what's really important to me, and putting it on paper, being really intentional about how you plan for that good life and talk about the things that you need support with. It's very eye-opening. Many times our students come up with all kinds of things that we don't even think about, that really helps them and provides support from a peer or a seating arrangement or something else. So here's the one-page profile. We believe it empowers a person to share their story and can be done in words, in pictures, on sticky notes, on forms, however it looks. It's about building a better relationship and truly understanding what matters to that person. It talks about individual strengths. I think people have a hard time really being able to hone in on what their strengths are and verbalize that to other people. Sometimes that's a hard thing for us to do, and it builds up strength kind of in being able to do that. And it separates what's important to someone from what's important for them and how they want to be supported. These tools and framework can be used with your family or yourself. Helps you learn more about yourself or your family. It really helps organize your thoughts and speak out for your family and what their wants and needs are. They do help in problem solving and goal setting, and sometimes will direct services and supports that are needed. So here's the next 2 upcoming workshops. On October 11th, we will cover the trajectory, and that's about really planning for that good life. What is my vision of what I do want, and what are some of the things I don't want, and how we're going to get there, and we'll explore that more. And on October 18th, we'll explore the integrated support star. And this is what the tool that we use for really goal setting or problem solving. And together, all three of these tools are the one-page profile. To get more information, you can go to LifeCourse Tools and go to the tools or the foundation to learn more about it. Or you can join us at the next two Charting the LifeCourse in the 3-part series workshops. Do we have any questions? Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't appear that we have any questions in the chat.
Feel free to throw those in now if you do have questions for Ms. Fiasco. We appreciate everybody joining us here today.
So for additional information about Charting the LifeCourse or the Family and Community Engagement Program, Department, you can go to www.ssdmo.org/face. You can email us at our FACE email, face@ssdmo.org, or give us a call at the main number 314-989-8460, and we'll get back with you. Thank you for joining us today, and please join us on October 11th and 18th for the rest of this 3-part series. Thanks again. Have a great day.